Get Into Geek, episode 88. We're finally here, the season finale of Season 4, Exodus. My name is Mitch. Joining me, the full Get Into Geek team, and much more. Matty.
Yo.
Brendan.
Hello.
Rhys.
Yeah, g'day, guys.
And the much more. What's doing? He's back. You asked to be back. You demanded. Some would say begged to be back.
Some say threatened.
All four of those
This
things.
piece of paper from the courts say you threatened.
You strong-armed your way back. Oh,
Yeah.
good to see you.
That's how you got to do it.
There's a few things we've been building up to in the podcast towards this episode. A few little teasers, a few little hints that I know you boys have been dropping, Brendan and Matty, especially to do with a son. You'd finally understand what they mean by that, Rhys. But let's go back to the old synopsis and find out exactly what's going on. And then Rhys, our first-time viewer, will give us his thoughts on Exodus. SG-1 joins forces with the Tok'ra in a final attempt to rid the universe of their mutual Goa'uld nemesis, Apophis. But their plan goes awry when a beloved member of their team is captured and they find themselves at the mercy of their most powerful and feared enemy. Where's the question mark, guys? He's back. The Poffmeister, Apoff, Rhys, the season finale of Season 4.
Very
Mega.
Poffness.
How are you feeling?
On edge. Oh, look, yeah, 40% of the way through SG-1, guys. I'm a full 4-season pledge.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
I feel
So
40%
proud.
alive.
Scotty Doo.
I'm so proud.
No, but this episode, love the fact that it's a to be continued. It ended quite well. Out of the galaxy. What was it, 4 million light years away?
125 years it had taken to get
Yeah,
Yeah, at
to
full
get back.
speed.
But
Do 125%. We know you can do it.
yeah, absolutely. It'll be fine. But yeah, I mean, it just had everything, didn't it?
Yeah.
Tilk and O'Neill back in the gliders
Yeah.
and the bloody Hatak that we stole or commandeered last episode.
Oh, great word.
At least,
I'm playing Assassin's Creed Black Flag at the moment.
nice.
Yeah.
At least it didn't disappear.
Ho, ho. Good game.
At least they
Great
acknowledged it, and
Great
it's like
game
it
if they
didn't
want to
just disappear. And it's like we get to this episode, and there's no Hatak that we sort of stole from Cronus last week.
Yeah.
'Cause I feel like if this was like
They've
season
done
1
that
or
before.
2,
Yeah.
it would just never would have existed. It would have
And
blown
Jake-
up at the end like the
Yeah.
sarcophagus, and we
Yeah.
never would have got it.
Yeah.
And Jacob's already just trying to go, oh, you should give it to us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Off,
Hey,
Jacob.
thanks for doing the hard work, but, give it to us.
Yeah.
And then, I laughed when O'Neill, was it O'Neill? Was saying, oh, no, we're killing all the system lords. Like, we're making progress here.
Yeah, what have you guys done?
And he's like, hey, we've got a long-term plan. It's to keep them all alive. What's that supposed to do?
Keep them
Yeah, we're
infighting.
working on it.
It's like, oh,
We're working on it, Jack.
every time you've killed one, a more brutal, annoying system
More powerful.
lord stepped in line. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, we've killed them too.
Yeah. And that's obviously how it's going to be. Once, it gets harder as you go along. We all know that. Eventually you come to the big boss and you defeat him and that's the end of the game.
Yeah.
Was it this episode or was it last week? I'm getting confused. But when they actually listed off all of the Goa'uld that they've killed, and you're like, shit, man, in 4 seasons you've knocked off like
was this
one,
episode. That was-
one and a
yeah.
quarter, one and a
Jacob.
half system lords every season.
Yeah.
You-
That was Teal'c mentioning that to Taneth.
oh God, he's
Yeah.
proud of that.
Oh,
yeah.
my God.
But he didn't mention Ra because he wasn't.
Yeah,
He
he's like
wasn't
He wasn't there.
honest, honourable Teal'c, right? He's not
yeah.
taking credit for
No,
that.
yeah,
I
I'm
wasn't
not
part
taking
of that.
credit for Ra.
I was still first prime at that stage. It was my dark days.
Hey, I
you know?
wonder if Tilk knew that team killed Ra.
Yeah.
Wonder if word got around from all the Jafar. Like, there's this dude with a cap, and he like,
Pointy hair.
and a
and
dude
he
with
has
glasses.
he has a wristwatch.
His name's O'Neill with one L.
Yeah,
He can-
No sense of humour.
He can make
got a
fire
Zippo.
in the palm of his hand.
yeah.
Likes to fish for nothing.
That is not Goa'uld technology.
For me, this episode started off amazing, and it was just the previously on. For me, this is the best previously on Stargate SG-1 ever, because you got it opens up. You're like, oh, what's this going to be about? And it was Taneth versus Teal'c. One day I hope to see. Oh, well, one day we'll definitely meet. I will ensure it. Like shit. Okay, these two are going to meet again. Shit's going to get real. Then it's like Apophis is amassing the biggest army the Goa'uld have ever amassed. I'm like, holy shit, we're bringing that into that episode as well. And there was like a third thing that really didn't even. I'd already lost my mind by that stage. I'm like, what? This is a 40-minute episode. It'd be different if it was a 2-part season finale or a movie-length episode or something. Like you were already bracing yourself for the biggest finale we've had possibly, and then they don't even obviously tell you that it's going to involve blowing up a sun. Like,
Yeah.
this is for me the geekiest, the sweatiest episode ever because you've got galactic travelers taking on an alien mothership to a world where they're going to use a wormhole device to connect to a black hole on the other side of the galaxy to cause a supernova to destroy a fleet of parasitic aliens. It's like we're watching this going, yeah, this makes sense.
It's
like,
like-
you try you introduce like someone who doesn't like sci-fi. They're like, what is this Stargate SG-1 show you watch? You're like, watch this. They'd be like, this is f***ing ridiculous.
Yeah.
You're like, nah, man.
It's like that line from Infinity War where Spider-Man rocks up and Iron Man goes, and he's like, "What are we doing?" And Iron Man just goes, "Oh, see that alien over there? He's trying to steal a necklace from a wizard. Stop him."
Yeah. Put it into layman terms, and you're like,
Yeah.
"This is ridiculous."
This is ridiculous.
But because we've
crazy thing
explained
ever.
it, it's got a backstory, so
Yeah.
it's completely plausible.
In the audio commentary, James Titchener, the visual effects supervisor, does actually recommend playing a fun game when they do the previously on, and this might be a good revamp of has Rhys been paying attention? We might do for social and Patreon.
That's what Rhys wants, an extension of the game.
Yeah.
Well, no, what,
More of it. That's
Hey,
what we
we should make an app.
What what James Titchener recommends is when they do a previously on, see how many episodes you can name from the previously ons, especially for this episode.
Nice.
Because he says the amount of previously ons they use for this is more than most episodes they've done.
Well, speaking of how you said that's your favourite previously ons, as season 4 of Farscape did the best previously on ever in a TV series.
They did kind of steal it from Buffy, though.
Did they?
Buffy did the same thing
They
for
did a little.
their 100th episode, yeah.
They did a little.
But yeah, I know
But
what
it's
you mean.
still better than
Still
Buffy.
great.
So that's
Well,
the thing.
Yeah, it
it's
was
as
done
good.
better.
It's equal.
Also-
They're equally as good.
Joz, I know you're new to the show, but whenever Maddie credits everything back to a Joss Whedon creation, we don't agree with him.
Oh, right,
We're not-
yeah.
It's kind of an unwritten rule.
Yeah. even if he
Okay.
is, as you said, he's right. They did it a little bit. You lie.
Yeah. Because
But
we can always.
I'm also a Joss
So all
Whedon
those
fanboy,
times
so
you said I was wrong, I was
So
actually
what
right.
year?
torn by that.
What year was the 100th episode of Buffy? Was that before Farscape?
2000, I
Yeah.
want to say.
Wow. Really did start that.
Was
early.
it the
Buffy's 7th
yeah,
season
yeah.
finished in 2003. Season 3 was in 1999.
Yeah,
Season
no, I don't
4
care
was
about
in
that.
2000.
I'm just saying,
So
was it before?
End of season 5 was
Farscape?
2001. 2001 was when Buffy's 100th episode was.
Yeah.
How
So
far until Stargate's SG-1's 100th episode?
Next
Next
season.
season, buddy.
Oh, it's going to be a big one, eh?
I mean, what are we up to? Episode
on-
85,
88.
Get Into Geek. 88.
Because on the
Do the math.
on the DVDs, one of the special features was a 100th episode, and I was going to go into it and have a look, but I'm like, wait, I'm
Obviously
pretty sure
not.
we haven't
I
hit
thought it was
that
weird
yet.
for them to do that in the 4th season
Yeah.
DVD set. Yeah, I thought that was odd.
Yeah.
They did something like that, I think, in season 1. There was something for season 2 as well.
Ah,
Stupid
very strange.
dickheads.
Yeah, well, I've been Matt Cormack, one of our patrons, sent us Matt Cormack sent us the illustrated companions.
Yes.
I've been reading
Whacking off to
the
that.
start of season 1 and 2, illustrated companion, and it's sort of one of the episodes. Well, I think it was Children of the Gods, and they were interviewing Brendan's mate Pete,
Yeah, absolutely.
Best mate, Pete.
Poff Daddy,
Best mate, Pete.
Mary Poffmas.
One of my best
And,
mates.
Artist formerly known as Poff.
Yeah, and he sort of
God formerly known as Paul.
Yeah.
and he mentioned it was just like an off the cuff. I think it was something like, "Oh, my favorite line in that was telling O'Neill that O'Neill telling me that he was going to kill me, which is funny considering what happened later on in the series." So, which I assume was when they killed him and then sent him through the Stargate. And then I'm like, oh Jesus, lucky I've already seen seasons 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Because that would have been a massive spoiler. So now I'm too scared to keep reading. I need someone else to read the illustrated companion just to tell me, no, you're right.
Yeah,
Mate,
and
I-
redact it.
I made I made a whole segment just to read the illustrated companion. Too.
Yeah. So you don't
Yeah,
need
but-
it.
Oh, all right. Just re-listen to the podcast then.
Good call.
A little bit of fun trivia for this one, just what we were talking about before with the cliffhanger, the to be continued, all that sort of stuff. This is actually the final cliffhanger finale SG-1 does until season 9.
Wow.
Because every season after this, they thought they were getting cancelled.
Oh, really?
So the end of season 5, their contract with Showtime actually runs out, and they finish the series. The series finishes at the end of season 5,
Really?
but then it got picked up by Sci-Fi.
I was going to
So
say,
then
yeah,
they
it went
get
into sci-fi. Yeah, it
season
went to
6.
sci-fi.
So then season 6, they end the series.
Yeah, right.
And it comes back. Season 7, they end the series because they kept wanting to get a movie. They wanted to actually finish it off with a proper movie. So they keep going. Finally, season 8, they legit end the series. And they come back and they finally get an order for 2 seasons. So they know that they're going to get season 9 and season 10. So season 9 is the only other season that they actually do a cliffhanger at the end to go over into season 10.
Shit.
And in a way, it does actually we are so spoilt for the next sort of 3 or 4 seasons because each season finale
Wraps
through
up.
seasons 5, 6, 7, and 8 is probably some of the best Stargate you'll ever watch because they just want to go out with a bang. So they just throw everything at us at every season finale. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about the next 4 season finales we've got. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's true. And once when they went over to Sci-Fi as well, their budget dropped considerably, like by 30%.
Yeah.
So.
The whole show changes because on Showtime, and the way we're watching it now is there's no ad breaks. The whole show is done. If you watch, the whole show is done as one solid thing. Whereas when they move to Sci-Fi, they have to actually rejig the way the show is broken down into its acts, and they actually have to write 2 ad breaks. And when you watch it on the DVDs, you actually get a fade to black, and then comes back up out of
I hate that shit.
Well, that's
You
what's
think
going to
it'd be
happen
the other
from
way around,
season
right?
6
Yeah,
onwards. Yeah. So
They still do that on
so it's
Netflix
a very
shows.
different change from
quite annoying.
from season 6 onwards. So we're really amping up into I would say the real sort of golden age of
SG1.
SG1.
Yeah, we're here, baby. We are here.
We are living it.
We're in the promised land.
We are living it.
Yeah.
We've done the hard work. Man, when you mentioned it before, when they told old Taneth that, hey, we know you're a Goa'uld, we've been using you.
God, that was good.
When Tilk dropped they do not want Apophis to phone, I was just like, oh my God, this is sweet.
Do you reckon before Tilk's like, oi, let me tell him.
Yeah.
Let me drop the bomb.
It's like, if you're not going to let me kill him, let me tell him
Yeah.
what's going to be happening.
That
Or
scene.
like they didn't even plan to tell him that they know he's a spy. Tilk just jumps in and goes, we know that you talk to Apophis, you bitch.
Tilk, damn it.
Oh, that whole scene was so good because, like you said, Teal'c's going in there and Taneth is there saying, "You want to kill me, don't you?" And you know for a fact that Teal'c does. And as an audience member, I'm wondering, like, is he gonna snap? Like, even a little bit? Is he gonna either physically do something? Is he gonna say something that he shouldn't? But then I'm remembering like the scene earlier where Jacob tells SG1, "Oh no, we're gonna basically we're done with him now. Like, we don't need him services. We've got something planned." So when Teal'c goes in there, I'm like, is this part of the plan? And we as an audience don't know. And then so he'd say something to scare Taneth, like, "Are we going to let have Apophis come find you?" And then Taneth would sort of change, but he's still calm. And then he'd go, "Well, okay, well maybe I'm better off alive," And then then Teal'c has to sort of take the next level, and then he threatens Teal'c on a personal level about Shinnok, and then Teal'c has to calmly put aside his rage, say something else that's going to set Taneth off. Like, there's the back and forth in that scene was fucking awesome. I love that.
Because there's also the undercurrent of Taneth being like, you know what, Teal'c killing me is going to be so much better for me than whatever Apophis can do to me when he finds out.
Torture me to death, put me in a sarcophagus, bring me back to life, torture me again.
Forever.
Yeah, forever.
Forever.
What annoyed me was, though, if that was part of their plan, why didn't they just take him back straight to the extraction ceremony?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
immediately.
why put him in a holding cell while
Yeah.
they're packing? Why not just extract him
Yeah.
and know that he's out there and then finish packing
Yeah.
and fuck off?
And one of the guards is like, he's like, "I'm going to kill myself." And the guard's like, "Oh, well." And then that dumb woman comes along, "Open the door, open the shield." But he's like, he's going to escape.
But
Open
see,
it.
It's
We
that
can't let
classic
the host
Tok'ra
die.
arrogance.
But see, I found myself
Let him
questioning,
die.
is this all part of the plan? Do they know he's going to do something to try and get out? And that something ended up being, I'm going to pretend like I'm killing the host from within. So they open the door and play dumb, and then, okay, one of them gets, strangled out or whatever, whether he dies or not, whatever. But that is part of it.
Oh, wait, no, he's not.
Is part of their plan letting him escape so that
Yeah.
he can contact Apophis to bring Apophis to play into the sun thing? Like, how much of this is part of the plan? And I was never sure. And to some extent, we never got the answers on exactly how much of what happened was part of what they had planned from the beginning.
It annoyed me because they had a Zat gun trained on him when he was passed out.
Very close.
And then he grabbed that guy's throat. I'm like, that's when you shoot him with the zap.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
But no, nothing happened. He just escaped.
It's classic, like, dickhead Tok'ra.
And Tick was so pissed. You could tell in the next scene he was just like doing the jaw clench.
That jaw.
Yeah.
That was that was having a workout all on its own. That was amazing.
Like, more pissed off than when he found out Frotak was,
Banging
banging
his wife.
his wife. He's like, he didn't even marry Shonok. He just they just caught up a few months ago before she died. More pissed off.
He sang a song and
Yeah, but that was
down.
that was the best head he's ever had, Bart. How dare you kill her?
Junior
Never
as
get
well.
that again.
Like, we had a couple of first appearances in this episode too. We had the first appearance of what Peter DeLuise coins the Waffle Bar, which is the new blue weapon station on the Peltac of the Hatak.
Oh,
Two
right.
little blue
the
like
Tilk
DJ
was-
discs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right.
Peter DeLuise calls that the Waffle Bar.
Yeah.
The Luke Skywalker don't get cocky kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And finally, the first appearance of what I think is probably my favourite Stargate ship of all time, the Alkesh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
I
Right there,
love the Alkesh.
So
The bomber.
mid-range bomber. So it's sort of high or more powerful than a glider, I'm guessing.
yeah, and it's bigger than a cargo ship. So you've kind of got your glider, your cargo ship. Your cargo
Right.
ship's got no weapons.
That was Aris Bok.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we do see a lot more. Obviously, Jacob had his cargo
And that
ship.
is a pretty
and all
big
that
ship.
kind of
Like
stuff as
when we were
well.
on box cargo ship, that seemed
Yeah.
massive when we were
Yeah.
inside it.
Like
So
a
Well,
it's
we were
fit a
inside it.
landmine in
Remember
it.
in Serpent's Venom, we when they knocked out the wall so we could get the mine in there.
Yeah.
The Alkesh is probably like 2 or 3 levels. So you actually, when you get a good look at the front of an Alkesh, it still has the same like windscreen as a cargo ship, but that it's just much larger and it's a couple of levels in there.
So can it?
Nice.
It doesn't go into hyperspace, does it?
Yeah, it's got
It
that's
does.
the thing. It's got the best of everything because it goes into hyperspace. It's
Close.
got weapons. It's got the cloak. So it's basically combining a cargo ship, a Hatak, and a glider all into one. And you can still land it on a planet and take it into atmosphere. I just think it's as a sci-fi nerd, I'm like
It's the
that
P90.
is pretty much
the P90
it's the ultimate. And it just
P90
Of the ship.
I don't know, just
It's
looks
the Spaz 12, I want to say.
it looks like it looks like a Ninja Turtle shell in space, just flying around. Like I love it, and it's about like it can fuck up a Hatak. Like it's
Yeah.
this little thing.
Like I know every time they've taken on a Hatak, they've got like 1,000 gliders that'll come out and start killing
Yeah.
them. But at the same
Yeah.
time, I'm like, there is potential for the Alkesh to destroy a Hatak
Yeah.
if they get their hands on one. They know that it can be done.
Yeah, but
Or
then
at
on-
least render it useless for a little while.
But then on the flip side,
Just change a couple of crystals there.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
So I'm like, how do you pinpoint the problem? Look, they've attacked you from the outside of this pyramid-sized mothership, but it's like, oh, if we just go into this one computer, we'll find the one frizzy wire.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
the
And
bloody
just
fuse,
replace
mate.
it from
Crystal
a crystal.
drawer.
Yeah,
I
the
like it
crystal
how,
drawer.
like,
And
It's like
Carter's-
the coloured fuses in your car. You just pull one out,
Yeah.
put a new one in, you're sorted.
Carter's like, I got this, Dad. Go back to the Peltac, and he's like, Sam, really?
Really?
Like,
Yeah.
come on.
How
It's
much
like,
is-
it's
how much
these
is
two
Joel and I
black
helping you at the
crystals.
moment?
We swap them out. Fucking
No,
hard.
but for me,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
conversation should have been, hey, well, maybe you go back and fly the ship because, you would be able to do that, and I'll do the crystal thing because it requires intimate knowledge of the operation of this thing. That would be easier rather than him going back and flying the ship and him telling her without having the ability of sight on the thing to fix it. But then she fixed it really quick. She's like, I've done it. I'm like, didn't
Yeah.
seem that hard, Jacob.
Yeah.
You arrogant.
Yeah, he's just like, give us the ship. Oh, it's really hard, Sam.
You
I'm
don't know how
not
to
sure
do
you would pick this
anything.
up. That's why we should have the ship. He just wanted the ship
Yeah.
the whole time.
That's it.
He's very condescending.
He's
It
a
was the
little
same
bit
in
annoying,
Surface
this-
I'm
Phantom.
surprised he didn't
Like
make
he was
a,
like, well, I'm the best pilot ever.
I'm surprised he didn't make another
Yeah.
slapping a sticker on the side of it joke again. I'm just being like,
Yeah.
don't you slap a United States Air Force sticker on the side of it.
Yeah.
This is me, Jacob. This is not Selmac. And I'm like, pretty sure a little bit of
Totally.
Selmac is involved, though.
Yeah.
I think he's whispering in your ear.
Yeah, totally.
He's
so.
influencing you.
Absolutely.
So yeah, when they did blow up that star, was
When
that
they just did that.
just got rid of the Stargate? Did obviously that was to get rid of Apophis's fleet. But like you said before, did they have that plan in mind? Was that always the plan? Or
No, I think that
they
was
sort of-
just
No.
We want to blow it up.
ambitious.
Yeah,
Ambitious?
Well, that's a pretty
Yeah.
intricate plan for being off the cuff. Oh, what do we do now?
Kind of makes me
Yeah.
feel like Carter's just been planning it for a while. She's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
she just woke up from like a sweaty dream, just going, "Oh my god, if I could get a Stargate close enough to a sun and dial the black hole, I could blow that up.
So hang on, Hammond
I'm going to
sits
hold
there.
that in the back of my brain.
Hammond
I need that.
fantasizes about blowing up the base, but saving it with 1 second to go. Teal'c meditates to killing Daniel in a really kinky way. And Carter sits there going, "Man, if I could just blow up his son, that'd be
Just what is
next
the
level."
Crazy destructive things I can do using a Stargate. Now that I know I can.
I'm getting bored.
I've
What
got
else
access
can
to a black. I've got access to a black hole and infinite, artificial wormholes. What can I do with that?
You know what made me think about matter of time and how we said time is relative there. So in theory, that planet could still be intact. Those dudes could be in that.
Yeah.
On that desert. So they in that episode, from their point of view, they open the Stargate, it shuts down. And then it opens back up.
The Iris decapitates one of them.
The Iris decapitates someone. Colonel Backstory fucking flies in and lands on it. Oh, shit! Turns around, looks at the black hole, and then 2 minutes later,
the corona
matter comes start pouring through and annihilates you.
It's like from
this is really not our day.
it's like from Judgment Day.
What are they doing back at base?
Yeah.
It's that
Where are they
skeleton
getting
on the
this stuff?
chain wire fence from Judgment Day. Just
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I just thought that would just be epic.
That's brilliant. I did send you guys this early this morning if you did see it, but it's a meme I've been holding on to for a while that I found on Instagram, and it's just Carter, just whatever the problem is, you can.
There's a sun in the way. Blow it up.
Blow it up.
I like it.
Yeah.
You blow
Seems-
it one sun. Technical question, sweaty nerd question. They've got the rings, right?
Yeah.
On the desert.
Yeah.
They ring back down into the Tok'ra base. No sand. At all.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Where's the sand?
Maybe there's
Where's
a
my sand?
maybe there's a sand filter,
Oh.
and it just knows not to take
Wow.
any sand
Yeah,
with
there's
it.
like a buffer.
So if
Yeah,
you
like
had
a
a baggie
strainer.
of Coke, you'd be like, "Oi,
Oh.
Yeah, you'd be
where's my
spewing.
Coke?"
Clean
Nah, there'd be no damage because it's
Mad
in
8 Ball.
it's in a seal lock bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
But
damage.
Remember when all the
Yeah,
Tok'ra,
baby.
Yeah.
In a freezer.
the Tok'ra hide under the sand, and they'll stay there for a day or
Yeah.
hiding in the sand. So they go to the rings, and they just shake it off, and they go downstairs, and then they know that all that
Sand-free.
sand is going to be left. Yeah, it's just going to be like sand free. Imagine that at
No
the beach.
sand in your crack.
You come,
Oh,
from you
that'd
come
be
off the
the
beach,
Yeah.
step through rings, and every particle of sand is just taken away from your body.
Now, okay,
So good.
but this planet though, what was the planet's name?
Vorash.
Vorash. That's different to the
Which sounds like a
two-part
condition.
Tok'ra episode where we met them, right?
Yes, because they.
What is
they,
their fucking fetish with going to Tatooine-like planets? Why do they need to
Yeah.
go to desert planets
Because
all
they
the
have
time?
all that tan gear that they like to
They
wear.
need to
It's the camouflage.
Man, if we
Yeah.
go
It's
to
like
a
we
water
wouldn't-
planet, we
yeah.
got to change up
Yeah.
our fashion.
But no,
God,
so
they go to a
they-
rainforest
Well, we
setting.
have
They
3
left-
different outfits. Like, fashion up a bit.
They left that planet in when we first met them
Yeah.
because of the infiltrators there, and from there they moved to Vorash, and they've been on Vorash ever since.
Yeah, but
because,
it's like pick a different
Oh,
setting.
so they
guys.
didn't. Well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, because Vorash is
blew up.
Yeah, Vorash is mentioned in earlier episodes, like
Yeah.
with the niece and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they've been there since they evacuated the other planet in Tok'ra Part 1 and
Tok'ra.
2, and they've evacuated this planet to go somewhere else and took out the whole solar system on their way.
So are all the Tok'ra on the Hatak then, right? With them?
Did they?
No, they said they were
Did they say they
evacuating through the
gated?
gate.
Some of them
Oh.
Yeah.
gated somewhere
Okay.
else, and then they were going to put the gate on the Hatak, take the gate to a different
Right.
planet, and then all of the, which is a nice way to save the Tok'ra, so you don't have to hire a bunch of extras,
Yeah.
and have them on the ship and get in the way for part 2.
Yeah.
Some of us are going to walk there.
Yeah.
That'll save a
Oh,
budget.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we do finally have.
Symbiote can take over for this one.
I teased it a couple of weeks ago.
I'm taking it easy. I'm not moving. Oi,
Yeah.
move for
Oi.
me.
Yeah.
Oi, carry
Move my
me.
arm for me. Oi, keep walking.
It's literally it's that bird that just sits on the back of the rhino. As
Yeah.
Yeah.
walking through.
I'm with
It's
him.
like-
You'd so do that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I
Just-
would.
I want to go to the shop, but I don't want to walk there. Well, you have to. No, I don't.
Yeah.
just puts a subliminal message in the host. You want Cheetos.
Yeah.
Did anyone see that movie recently, Upgrade?
Yeah.
You saw it? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw the first half of it anyway.
Yeah, right, okay. But just the
I fell
idea,
asleep.
he had that chip inside him, and he was like, the chip
It
would
was
be
very
like, he's
cool.
getting his ass whooped by this bloke, and he's like, fight. The chip's like, fight him. fight him, Gary. And he's like, I'm trying. He's like, would you like me to take over? He's like, yes. And then the chip takes over his body and like
kicks.
it knows kung fu. You know, like and it can kick Sky's ass, but it's awesome. It's like, he could just take a back seat in his own body. Just reminded me of that. Yeah,
taking today off.
Yeah, done.
So I hinted at it a couple of weeks ago, and we finally got to see it. Jack in his Daniel Jackson floppy hat.
Yeah, he wears it better.
Well,
sorry,
yeah,
who wears it better?
I think because it's the tan version, he wears it better, and he's got the goggles, so I think he can wear it a little bit better. But I think he looks better in his hat, though.
The backwards cap and the goggles. Yeah.
If you're cool, you can pull anything off. Just ask Chris Judge.
Yeah, those.
Don't ask Chris Judge. Ask his rainbow pants.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ask his penis in his rainbow pants because those things are tight.
You can see everything.
You can see that ding dong.
In Scorched Earth, when
ding dong.
in Scorched Earth, when they're walking along that bear, where the bears were along that garden thing, it's just like he may as well be one of those three-legged aliens from Scorched Earth, the way he's walking. It's
Absolutely.
like,
Reverse Ultroning it again.
I mean, you don't like to get on stereotypes, but Jaffa are well hung,
Absolutely.
Everyone knows that.
When
From the galaxy.
Tilk's talking to Taneth, I couldn't help but notice his epic eyeliner in this one.
Yeah.
For some reason, it stood out more to me
really
than ever.
did in this episode.
Tilks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's big
Right.
black eyeliner.
When the lighting is good, you can see it.
Yeah, I just wish they had have kind of done a scene once where you see him putting on his eyeliner in the morning.
After his Kilnoreen.
He's like busy,
but it's
not
like
O'Neill.
Tilk, I'm in a deep state of Kilnoreen. It's an emergency, buddy. I'm in a deep state of Kilnoreen. They bust in, and he's just like up against the mirror.
And then gold powdering afterwards. Actually, you guys probably never seen it.
Shaving his head.
Did you guys ever watch?
Putting his emblem on his forehead.
Did you guys ever watch that movie To Wong Fu? Thanks for everything, Julie Newmar. It's where Patrick Swayze and Wesley Snipes and John Leguizamo were drag queens.
Right.
It's from like 93. The whole opening montage is like Patrick Swayze and Wesley Snipes putting on makeup and patting themselves and putting on wigs and stuff like that. That's what I want to see of Teal. Just in the morning, just
I want to see
ready.
Tilk's morning beauty routine.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Shaving the nuts. And the biggest question I have in this episode, why the hell did they tell the Tok'ra they had a Hatak?
Yeah.
Why? Because they leave
Saving
Kronos' planet in the timeline. They leave Kronos' planet and head straight for Vorash. They've never gone to Earth.
No,
with it.
I think there's a time cut there because I thought the same thing, but then I realised we don't know how to fly it. And when
Tilk
was using it.
but see,
weaponry.
Here's the thing.
He was only flying the glider, remember?
So when we meet up with Taneth and the other Tok'ra chick, and they're walking through, and she's like, "Why was it not in?" She's like, "Oh no, we're expecting it." And when they ring down, and Jack's like, "Oh, hope we're not double parked." Jacob was with them. Jacob rings down with them. So my thought is they went back to Earth, dialed the Tok'ra, told them, said, "We don't know how to fly it," or whatever. Even though, Tilk should know how to fly it.
Yeah.
Well,
and he did because he was on the controls. And then they're like, "Tilk, is it working?" "No, weapons are off, systems are off, blah blah blah." And then O'Neill goes, "Oh, this thing's got gliders, right?" And he goes, "Tilk with me." So Tilk was using the weaponry to shoot at that.
Yeah, but we're talking about the Peltac.
Might not be able to fly it, though.
He can't. He let his license expire since.
Remember,
he doesn't have his Hatak license anymore.
He needs 3 more lessons
and
to
he's
get his license.
I still need a system lord in present when I
sign off on it.
Yeah. So that's why that explains it. It's off camera. It's all off camera.
Remember,
But he's still got his glider license.
He's still got his glider license, and that's current for another 5 years.
Yeah,
that's in the written compendium.
Yeah.
But remember at the end of season 1 when they gate to the first Hatak to Apophysis 1, and Tilk doesn't recognize it as a Hatak straight away. He's not sure what it is. And they ask him if he can fly it, and I'm fairly certain he says no. He's proficient on a glider, but I'm pretty sure he says he's not proficient in flying this type of vessel.
Yeah, true.
But they did have that.
Like
I'm pretty sure they had a
because of the
Jafar
license.
cruising about with that. At one point, there was a Jafar and...
Jafar could definitely fly it.
Yeah.
But I think
The new
earlier
update
when they
version.
say Teal,
Jacob wasn't too cocky when he said, "Yeah, I'm the best pilot in Serpent's Venom.
Yeah.
Well,
I can fly everything. I
he's
got
a
like
Tok'ra
a
pilot and an
a
Air
C-class
Force pilot
pilot.
combined in one.
I got a trucker license.
Pretty big
know.
deal.
Yeah, I got my
M
B double
class.
license.
Yeah, I got my 3
I can
ton.
work a crane and a digger.
I got my 3,000 megaton license.
So maybe if you compare it to a
And a
boat,
space
Teal's
forklift.
like if we're out in open water, I can totally fly it. But like parking it and stuff like that, I can't do.
Yeah.
So you like can't.
I believe
take-
it's called docking.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm just high-pitched Matty.
Did anyone notice that when the Stargate was in the force field,
Yeah.
obviously only 6 lights lit up. The bottom ones didn't light up.
Yeah, what was with that?
Well, I think it's because it's like a six chevrons and then the lock. So then the other chevrons don't engage.
Well, that makes
But you
sense.
don't notice that ever because either it's like underground or, below the ramp at the SGC.
Yeah, you never really see the bottom 2 chevron lights.
Yeah.
Because there's 9 total like orange lights on a Stargate. But
Oh,
obviously
right.
we're only using the top 7.
Oh,
the bottom 2
right.
are usually either in the concrete pedestal or
Yeah,
they're underneath
right.
the grate that we walk through at Stargate
Ah.
Command.
Yeah, so I just thought,
Yeah,
it's
cool.
cool that they thought of that. At
Yeah.
least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't just light it all up.
Yeah, because I noticed that the lights weren't on.
Mm.
But yeah, I didn't even question why.
That was, I think, I still remember to this day, the first time I saw that is like the space doors opening, the shield activating around the gate, and it just like,
I
launching
feel like
into
they should have
space.
really done that a lot quicker.
Yeah,
Like if it's connected to a black hole, they left it open for a good 20 seconds.
The Iris didn't
Yeah.
last that long.
Carter's just making
That
up.
would've-
She doesn't know those controls. She's
Yeah.
just trying to figure it out.
Like,
But
I
then
still,
just seeing it slowly just like launch out, and it's got the little booster rockets top and bottom to just adjust its pitch and angle and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's just such a nice touch, rather than just like getting it sucked out into space and hoping the gravity gets it. It's
Yeah.
like, no, they put fucking rockets on it to like get it to. I'm
Yeah.
like, I just lost my mind over that.
What, that they...
Just the detail of it, just how
stabilizers
cool it looked.
Oh,
just,
so you liked
just
it.
the-
It was
the
a losing my mind
spectacle.
love.
I
It was
loved
like...
it.
You were going,
Mitch is like, yeah, I feel weird that you like something.
No. I just thought I'd missed a sentence. Yeah, and for me, that was the thing. I'm watching this. I'm like, I don't think they're close enough to the sun to have happen what they really want to happen or what they need to
Yeah.
happen. Like, they
Suns
need to
have
get.
a massive gravitational pull. Like you could.
But even when they were there in the ship and you look, the sun was there. You could still see like the sun was there, fully visible. I'm like, how small is this sun? Or you're really that far away from it. And I'd probably only compare it to, and it came after, and it was much more detailed and completely about the sun. But that movie Sunshine, the Danny Boyle film,
yeah.
and like they were barely past Mercury, and they had the shields up the fucking wazoo,
Yeah.
and that ship was still falling apart. Like by the time they got within like thousands and thousands of fucking kilometers away from the sun, that ship was ready to tear apart. Like they.
This is Goa'uld crystal.
Oh,
technology,
mate.
But if they, even,
Wait till you get to
even an
universe.
even an Alcatraz is
Yeah.
just flying around like completely unscathed by the fact that they're near a star.
It
Mate.
just came out of the cloak
Yeah.
right near a star, and it's like without our atmosphere, we would all be burnt to a crisp.
Yeah.
We are
Brendan
hundreds
just
of
brought it
millions
up.
of miles away.
Brendan just brought it up. Stargate Universe is going to blow your tiny mind
But again, in a good way or a bad way?
in a good way.
Oh,
Would
okay.
the-
I think a bad way, but anyway.
Okay.
so the Stargate to the black hole,
Science nerd in me thinks it's
obviously that's to suck the sun in.
Yeah.
But wouldn't how
You could
far
stick your
away?
dick in?
Yeah,
Is
how
that what
far away? No, how far away from the sun would it have to be for that to work, or would it have to touch the sun?
no, not
40,000
at all.
kilometers. I've just made that up.
I thought it was real because you looked down at your notebook as you were saying it.
You did very well.
That was a very convincing lie.
And I immediately thought, how did he work
It's all
that
about
out?
delivery.
Yeah. No, it's
Conversion.com, so they gave miles, and he jumped onto conversion.com.
You gotta get onto it, I've been telling you.
It worked out to a clean 40,000. So in the show, they gave a very detailed, like 21,932 miles.
So
you know?
my next question is, how hot does the Naquadine, the Stargate, have to be for it to blow up?
Yeah, that's an excellent
That's
point.
the best. That's the best call.
I
Yeah.
think
That's where I was working up
they
to.
did say, well, like it's obviously covered in a shield, and that gets it through a certain sort of distance. And then
good shield.
Carter does have a line where they say the Stargate will probably be destroyed, but we only need to be active for like a couple of minutes to suck enough mass out of the
Yeah,
sun
which I don't think is right.
to kick into it.
Because how many solar flares are there, and just blowing out into space? There's a lot of matter.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, and surely those two little rockets wouldn't stop it from going into orbit.
And taking mass
Well, putting
away
it in-
from
Right.
wouldn't
Oh,
make
I
it
think
go
you're too- I think
supernova,
you're
it would
too-
turn it into a black
Yeah,
hole.
black hole.
Didn't they say
So it's
the
sort
the
of
Hatak had
collapsing
entered
onto-
the corona? Like, so it was
Right.
already quite close. So I think it's probably too close that anything would just sit in orbit. Anything
Right.
close is just going to get sucked into it.
And
That's
a
what they were counting.
supernova, I think, would blow up quicker than that.
Yeah, they said it would.
Yeah.
It
It's
would.
a
At
slow-mo.
however many times the speed of light. They said
Yeah.
how fast it will go. But then we're watching. They're like, we better get out of here quickly. And I'm like,
Yeah.
They
no.
stand up in their seat.
think-
What is that?
In the
Fucking supernova.
That's the
Yeah,
plan.
yeah.
Being
Yeah.
successful. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
they did it better in Star Trek Generations when they brought the sun there.
Bosh.
shit.
Oh, shame.
I will, given this the season finale, I will do a box of Shane later, but I'm going to make you
Oh,
guys. I'm
we're
going to make
so
you guys.
grateful. Shut up and open the box.
I'm going to make you guys earn it. But
Excuse
in
me?
in the audio commentary, I'll just
We don't earn it.
I've got a
You
box
talk
of
about
Shame
Star
Hard on.
Trek.
We'll,
you open the box.
We'll finish our sun chat and then we can do it. In the
No, you don't make up the rules. Open the box, mate.
mate, if you can't force my hands to open the box, so you don't.
He's
make the
forced your
rules
hands to
either.
do other things, mate. Let's be honest.
Mate, you didn't have to force me to do those. So in the audio commentary, they do mention that Brad Wright is just like, he is the hardcore science nerd of the writing team. So they did say, like, look it up. All the science that was written works. But I do agree that I think the CG has kind of let it down in terms of the timing and the perspective of how close or how far we were from the sun and how quickly it imploded and the shockwave, and then the shockwave obviously somehow superpowered the engines in hyperdrive to take us across the galaxy and all that kind of stuff.
Because Alkesh aside, like I said before, you imagine seeing like a shot of the mothership that they're in, and then like it being a real wide shot, and you can just see like yellow filling up the screen.
Yeah.
Getting the idea that they are so close to a giant sun, which don't they consider our sun? It's like it's in like the smaller
Tiny, yeah.
It's a
third,
yellow dwarf.
smaller quarter of the sizes of sun. So like for really like when it comes down to the odds, we're probably going to a sun that's bigger than ours. Just the
Yeah.
idea that we would be so close to the sun, like that would really raise the stakes. They've got to throw this bomb out, but they're not get sucked or burnt up themselves.
They did mention in the commentary as well, one of the things that the visual effects supervisor was a bit annoyed about is when they're like leaving the planet and stuff and you can see the sun in the distance, it's an orange giant, but then the closer they get to it, it becomes a yellow giant. So then they have their own little geeky chat about, maybe it's a filter filter on the
on the windows.
on the windscreen of the thing that's that's not going to burn their eyes out and all that kind of stuff. So
Makes sense.
it is that hard.
It doesn't make sense.
It's that hard matching thing of
Why not? If you wear sunnies, the fucking sky looks a different color.
Yeah.
It wouldn't.
Prick.
Doesn't
Mate,
make any sense. I
I've
stand
got
by
a
it.
filter on my Instagram. I've got a filter on my Instagram that
Yeah.
makes me look black and white.
Oh,
Yep.
don't
Ooh,
say
racist.
black.
I wouldn't say black. like, why gotta be black?
Oh, God. Don't
Jesus.
separate the two colours.
Yeah.
Multicultural.
Sometimes yellow.
Sorry, it makes
so-
me sepia. It makes me grey and sepia.
Or what I did like was just one line of dialogue which really dumbed it down for the audience, but in a really interesting way. Like, you know, I might know or I don't know a lot about the idea of what a sun is or a supernova and whatnot, but just they had that line that they said, well, a sun is, you know, blah blah, which is it's wanting the sun to explode. It's wanting to explode all the time, but then it's also got this mass gravitational pull which wants to shrink it down to the size of a grape, and those two are constantly working against one another, and that's what sits there and burns
Hectic.
or whatever. And I'm like,
your solar flares,
true.
solar flares and
exploding
stuff, and I'm
Yeah,
like, that's
burns
I've
the-
never really
Can't remember the name of it.
in
It's,
one sentence. It just
some
summed it
kind
up.
of force.
It was
called.
awesome.
Yeah.
It's the same as an atom.
So that makes sense when you said he's an absolute science nerd. Like, he's just broken it down.
Yeah.
How can I not take up too much time in a 42-minute episode, but to explain exactly what a sun is to people that are just watching this for the bangs and the aliens?
Yeah,
and
so
the zany humour.
what was written, I think, is Brad's done his research and he's worked it all out. But it's just the way it was visualized by the director and the visual effects guys and that kind of stuff was probably a little bit off. But you know, you got to take it with a grain of salt. We're flying around in a giant pyramid.
Yeah.
You know, and that
there's
kind of
certain
stuff as
licenses
well,
that have to be
so-
taken. Like, it's definitely not a hard science fiction show, so it's there's licenses that can be taken.
Imagine how much research would have gone into that one sentence. Like research, like
More than Robert
4 or
C. Cooper's
5
put
hours.
into 10 seasons of Stargate.
All right,
And a degree.
Brad Wright's just like, all right, I got to do research to work out this sun, and Cooper's like, just put a bug in there.
Yeah, it's a big fiery bug.
Just put a sun bug.
Firebug.
More than the origin.
Flame dragon. Here it comes.
There's more work went into that than like the entirety of Origins. Just just that one sentence. Brad Wright put more work into that than both writers of the entire thing of Origins did.
So, for the plan, success or not, I mean, it was taking down some serious attacks of Apophis. but then they get blasted across the other side of the universe. Like when they actually, we're so far away.
Across the universe.
When they say, we're not even in our own galaxy anymore, and I'm like, shit! Like how did this happen? Like what is does the explosion like just seep into the hyperdrive that doesn't really exist? Like, you're going that fast, you don't just jump into something and take off in a stream. But how did it excel that
side effects
process?
from the black hole? Maybe.
Yeah, it was like it's cool.
But yeah, our galaxy is about 90,000 light years across. I believe, like the Milky Way galaxy. And what do they get? Shoved a couple of million light years or something like that.
Yeah, like 4 million.
Yeah, so long trip.
But they didn't mention what
Light years
galaxy they're in either, did they?
I don't think they knew. I think they just
the
Jacob,
was it Kalian galaxy or
Jacob just said
from the movie?
he just said he doesn't recognize it.
Yeah, they couldn't recognize any of the star systems around
But
them.
he knew how far they travelled. So like the
That was
odometer,
that was
the odometer of the
yeah.
ship just.
That was the yeah.
Oh my god, this Tuck is going to be worth so much less.
Maybe I could sell it for used parts.
The humans go back. SG-1 tries to give it to the Tok'ra. They're like, no, well, that kind of mileage.
4 million light years? What the... if I could just rewind for a bit. Box. Shame.
Did you write that down so you wouldn't forget?
No, he's right at the front of my mind.
Oh, I'm so devastated there's not a physical box that you whipped out.
No, there is. It's right here.
Oh, thank you. Just
Look at the smile on your face. Like, you are genuinely happy. I just want the listeners to know on this audio medium that he was devastated and now he is completely happy.
There's a box.
I am.
There's
There's
an
a
actual
physical
box.
box. Got Earth's.
And when you rub it, you
rubbing
feel
it.
shame
Yeah.
No
Be a
shame
genie
here,
come out.
because
So,
you know what's happened to that box.
Just because it's apropos
No
of
shame.
nothing, I'm going to make you guys work for it and give you a bit of Star Trek knowledge apropos of nothing. Just to,
No, you've already...
that was a mention. I
You
got a
won't be
plus
giving
one.
me
Just
any.
let me get this
Time.
done and we'll be done.
Be
We have no
very
time for
careful
this.
because the mic's your mic is about to go off.
It's fine. It's just a fun bit of trivia. So here's an episode of the
Fun
original,
for us.
the original Star Trek, Trials and Tribulations. This is
Damn
for the
tribbles.
30th anniversary where Jadzia Dax and Sisko got put into an old episode of television. This is like
Brilliantly
a
done.
95
That's cool.
episode of television.
Very
Put
well
into a
done.
67. What you'll hear here is Jadzia Dax, the character there, Terry Farrell.
Oh, Becca.
From
Yeah.
Becca. She's talking about how handsome and what a ladies' man he is, and the guy thinks it's Kirk. She's actually talking about Spock. This was done back in 1995, how she finds Spock super attractive and what a ladies' man he is. Cut to last year, or a couple of years ago when Leonard Nimoy died, his son Adam Nimoy started doing the documentary and started interviewing Star Trek alumni and stuff like that, where he met Terry Farrell. Those two are now married.
Bullshit.
shit.
Boom. She married Spock's son.
Oh,
Holy shit. Oh, I was
That
about
is
to
a
go,
bit of
how
trivia that I didn't
did
know.
you even get into this
Makes
from
no sense to me.
Stargate? But
Makes
that's a
heaps of
fucking cool piece of trivia.
Isn't
that
that,
is a
cool?
very cool piece
Her
of trivia.
character 25 years ago was like, I think Spock's hot. And now the real life actress, married to his son.
yeah.
Look at him shaking
I'll
up.
happily do a box of shame for that. I was so stoked when I found that out.
Yep.
Rhys
No.
is just devastated. He's just like, I just
I'm not
want to
devastated.
Listen,
I'm
that
just-
made perfect sense
I'll
to
tell
me.
you what,
I
shout out
loved
to
it.
Adam Nimoy because
He's doing very well.
Terry's, she's beautiful. Gotta love watching Becca as a
Yeah.
kid. He was.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'd buy
so
coffee from her.
What are you thinking, mate?
Damien Edwards wants me to admit that Kirk's death in Into Darkness was way more emotional than Spock's lame death in The Wrath of Khan.
True that. Well said, Matty.
Absolutely.
I'm actually fine with that because I'm not a
Yeah.
huge fan of the original series. So
Same.
Well, he's talking about the
another,
films.
another
Well,
win
you're
for me.
Why'd you mention it then?
Yeah, why is that?
Damien wanted me to bring it up. He just wanted me to admit it, and I'm okay with that.
You're okay with admitting it?
Yeah.
Can we do the trivia? 30 seconds?
Yeah.
It's time to find out if
Rhys
Rhys
has
has been paying attention.
Season finale edition.
Oh,
shit.
Does that mean it's
This has
questions?
been so entertaining for me.
It doesn't
today.
mean anything.
Oh.
As we know from last
last week. Jesus.
Give us more Ashley Judd trivia.
Yeah.
In the Double Dragon
Exodus was
video
a
game
movie.
on Super
Name an
Nintendo.
actor in that movie. no.
Ashley Judd did a couple of episodes of Star Trek: The Next Generation, just
Yes,
in case
she
you're
did.
wondering.
All right, turn his mic off. He's done.
Yeah.
Sorry,
That's-
that's at least two. So
Okay, 30 seconds on the clock. Time starts at the end of this one. In Chain Reaction, Hammond is forced to retire by which organisation?
NID.
Correct. Name the Tok'ra planet from this episode.
Oh, Vorash.
Correct. What did Jacob use as a distraction for Apoff?
Bad wording, but I know the
Pass.
answer.
True or false? Braytak wasn't in season 4.
False.
Wrong. Name the Goa'uld who killed Shannak.
Taneth.
Cool. What did
He
he use
used
for a
gliders.
distraction? Correct. That's it.
True. Braytek wasn't in season 4.
No. He was mentioned, not in it.
Yeah,
At all.
mentioned as being
Well,
killed.
entirely
What do you mean
season
by
4?
in it?
Yeah, we haven't seen him since Maternal Instinct, have we?
Tony Amendola was not in it.
So this is what Daniel Jackson reckons.
Rhys, your father made you wrong!
You stupid son of a bitch.
We all know.
I don't. I need to hear that again.
Yeah, I feel for you there, Rhys. I am shocked by that we haven't seen him in 22 weeks.
I'm like going back through my notes, and like Braytek's name is in here a couple of times, but
That's
it's
okay.
only
Just pull a Brendan and bring a spreadsheet in next week for the season wrap-up.
No, it's online. I didn't make it up.
Braytek's IDC and Crossroads.
Well, that is
Yeah,
our next
he wasn't in
episode.
it.
So our next podcast on an actual Stargate SG-1 episode is 2 weeks away. Next week, we're going to be talking our Season 4 wrap-up, our rankings.
yeah.
Get our top 7,
I
bottom
will
7.
get my spreadsheet out.
Yes,
I will
this-
get it
This
out.
is where you
Yeah.
shine, mate.
Yeah.
Give me a
Absolutely.
whiteboard, give you a spreadsheet. And
I'm sorry, I won't be
conversion.com,
here
and
to
we
see
are
the
sorted.
spreadsheet.
Man, I hope
Yeah.
you still lose with your spreadsheet.
How can I lose?
Yeah,
I
How can I
win.
lose? I've got a
Already won.
spreadsheet.
Yeah.
It's my spreadsheet. I can do whatever I want with it. I win.
Rules however I want.
So you can check out all of our Season 4 podcasts and get your list together over the next week. Jump on to Get Into Gate, a Stargate podcast, and any podcasting channel. Pick your favourite, go there. We are there. Join the show, subscribe. Follow us, like, share, whatever on the social pages, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. Or jump on to patreon.com/Get Into Gate. Support the show, join the show more importantly, and we've also got up some exclusive behind-the-scenes extras and secret content. Get inside the show.
Yes, and now SG1 patch giveaway. 5 lucky winners will be drawn this week.
Yeah, beautiful stuff. You
Absolutely.
can look as good as what we do because we've got the patches too,
That's
man.
it. You got a couple of days to get involved.
Yeah.
Be like us.
Please
Be
don't
like
exit
us.
us.
I didn't know how you were going to do that. Wow.
Well done, sir.
You're welcome.
Fantastic.
Caps off.
Very impressed on that one.
Myself, Mitch_Lewis on Twitter and Instagram if you want to come and talk some gate. As if you don't with me, please. Anyway, Matty.
Hi, Mitch Matty.
Brennan.
At the Brendan Gibson.
Rhys.
I am at the Flying Gibson.
And Josnator.
Jaws TV. At Jaws_TV, sorry.
I've been saying it wrong for 3 weeks.
That's
Yeah,
right. Brendan
shit.
did it for 3 years, so that's fine.
Yeah. Don't feel bad. Change it if you
I
want.
didn't.
It doesn't matter.
All right, we'll be back next week to do our full Season 4 wrap-up. What will be the best episode? Find out next week right here on Get Into Gate.
GetIntoGeek.com.